Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today's Saturday, September 8th, 2018. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's baseball games, look ahead to today's games, go over a college game last night between TCU and SMU, game of the WNBA Finals, U.S. Open Finals today, the BMW Golf Tournament. I'll fill you guys in on that. And I will do my NHL National TV Announcer rankings. Alright, I'll try to be quick today because I am short on time. To baseball we go. The Reds beat the Padres 12-6 as they improve to 1682. San Diego drops to 56-87. Michael Lorenzen gets the win. Matt Strahm with the loss. Blue Jays feed the Indians 3-2 in 11 innings. Toronto 64-77, Cleveland's 80-61. Danny Barnes with the win, Adam Simber with the loss. Pirates fade the Marlins 5-3 as they improve to 70-71. The Marlins drop to 56-85. Richard Rodriguez with the win. Tayron Guerrero with the loss. Felipe Vasquez with the save. The Astros defeated the Red Sox 6-3 as they improve to 88-53. Boston drops to 97-45. Ryan Presley with the win, Joey Kelly with the loss, Roberto Osuna with the save. The Tigers defeated the Cardinals 5-3 as they improved to 58-53. St. Louis drops to 78-63. Shane Green with the win, Jordan Hicks with the loss. This game ended on a walk-off homer by Jeimer Candelario. The Phillies defeated the Mets 4-3 as they improved to 74-66. The Mets dropped to 63-77. Aaron Nola with the win, Tyler Basher with the loss, Tommy Hunter with the save. The Rays killed the Orioles 14-2. They improved to 76-64. Baltimore drops to 41-100. Blake Snell with the win. Dylan Bundy with the loss. So the Orioles the first team to 100 losses this year. The Angels defeated the White Sox 5-2 as they improved to 69-72. The White Sox dropped to 56-85. Felix Pena with the win. Carlos Rodon with the loss. Ty Buttery with the save. The Brewers defeated the Giants 4-2 as they improved to 80-62. The Giants dropped to 68-74. Josh Hader with the win. Hunter Strickland with the loss. Jared Jeffries with the save. The Twins defeated the Royals 10-6 as they improved to 64-76. Kansas City drops to 46-94. Trevor May with the win. Glenn Sparkman with the loss. Dodgers defeated the Rockies 4-2 as they improved to 77-64. The Rocks dropped to 77-63. Clayton Kershaw with the win. Chris Russo with the loss, Kenta Maeda with the save. The Diamondbacks defeated the Braves 5-3 as they improved to 76-65. Atlanta dropped to 77-64. Patrick Corbin with the win, Kevin Gausman with the loss, Brad Boxberger with the save. The A's defeated the Rangers 8-4 as they improved to 85-57. The Rangers dropped to 61-80. Yusmeiro Petit with the win, Yovani Gallardo with the loss. The Yankees defeated the Mariners 4-0 as they improved to 88-53. The Mariners dropped to 78-63. Masahiro Tanaka with the win. James Paxton with the loss. Cubs Nationals postponed for today, so that will be a doubleheader. Today's games: Marlins Pirates. Wayne Chen and Von Nova. That's a 1 o'clock game. 3 o'clock Cubs Nats. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Jaime Garcia, Max Scherzer. Garcia making his Cubs debut. 4 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, Astros, Red Sox. Possible ALCS preview. Charlie Morton against Eduardo Rodriguez. Give me the Astros on the road. Morton's a better pitcher than Rodriguez. And Rodriguez needs to give this rotation a little bit of a boost after he's back from the DL, or since he's been back, because Nathan Eovaldi hasn't really panned out so far, and Chris Sale's on the DL too. But I'm picking Houston. I just like the matchup. Rangers, A's. Yohander Mendez, Edwin Jackson. Indians, Blue Jays. Adam Plutko and Sean Reid Foley. Padres, Reds. Robbie Erlin, Matt Harvey. Cardinals, Tigers at 6 o'clock. Jack Flaherty, Matt Boyd. Orioles, Rays. David S. Diego Castillo. 7 o'clock, game 2 of the doubleheader. Cubs, Nationals. Cole Hamels against to be determined. Angels, White Sox. Matt Schumacher, James Shields. Giants, Brewers. Chris Stratton, Gio Gonzalez. Royals Twins. Jorge Lopez and Jose Berrios. Phillies Mets. Zach Eflin, Noah Syndergaard. 8 o'clock Dodgers Rockies. Walker Buehler, Kyle Freeland. Braves Diamondbacks. Julio Teheran and Clay Buchholz. Yankees Mariners 9 o'clock. Lance Lynn, Felix Hernandez. Alright, college football last night. TCU defeated SMU by a score of 42-12. TCU improves to 2-0. SMU drops 0-2. Sean Robinson, 15 of 28, 146 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Ben Hicks, 18 of 38, 111 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. So not a great game for him. WNBA, Game 1 of the finals last night. The Storm defeated the Mystics 89-76 in Game 1, as I predicted on the podcast. Jewel Lloyd, 23 points, 5 rebounds in the win. Ariel Atkins, 23 points in defeat. Game 2 is tomorrow, 3:30 on ABC, and I'll pick that game on tomorrow's podcast. U.S. Open, the men's semifinal was yesterday. Juan Del Porto upsets Rafael Nadal in what was a stunner, and it ends in retired. And Novak Djokovic defeats Keith Nishorky. So your final today is Juan Del Porto and Novak Djokovic. I think this is going to be a good one. I really like Novak Djokovic to pull this off, to be the champion on the men's side. The women's finals, 4 o'clock, ESPN, Serena Williams against Naomi Osaka. Give me Serena to win her first U.S. Open in, I think, 5 years. So your U.S. Open champions, I have Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams. The BMW Championship, your leaderboard update. Xander Schauffele in first with the -13. Justin Rose in second with the -11. Tied for third, Keegan Bradley, Alexander Noren, Ricky Fowler at -10. Notables, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Justin Day all tied at 7th with a -9. Tigers tied for 12th with a -8. Zach Johnson and Bubba Watson are tied for 34th with a -4. And Brooks Koepka tied for 38th with a -3. We'll get more into that on tomorrow's podcast. Now I'm going to do my NHL National TV announcer rankings. This was a tough list to make. I made it with mostly the U.S. announcers with a sprinkle in of the Canadian announcers on the Canadian networks. I did not include the local announcers for the Flames and the Canucks and the Jets. But the 2 local announcers for the Maple Leafs and the Sens made the list, obviously because they do games for NBC as well. Alright, without further ado, National TV announcer rankings, 14 men on the list. 14 is Dave Goucher. He's the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights, and he's done a few games for NBC Sportsnet. 13 is Brendan Burke. He's the television voice of the Islanders, does games for NBCSN, including playoff games. 12 is Alex Faust. He's the TV voice of the Los Angeles Kings. Now has a gig on NBC Sportsnet. He's done a lot of West Coast games. 11 is Ken Daniels. occasionally does games on NBC Sports Network and has done playoff games for them over the last 4 years, whether the Red Wings would be in it or not. He usually would avoid the Red Wings and do another Eastern Conference series in the first round. And the same goes for number 10 on this list, and that's John Wall, and he's the radio voice of the Washington Capitals. He's done his share of playoff games for NBCSN, but he just avoids the Capitals, obviously. 9, Randy Hahn. He does a lot of regular season games on NBCSN, sometimes playoff games if the Sharks aren't in it, mostly West Coast games. 8, Chris Cuthbert. He does local announcing for the Maple Leafs and the Senators, does just an occasional games on NBC Sportsnet, calls a lot of playoff games as well. 7 is Rick Peckham. He used to do a lot of games on NBC Sportsnet, but he's cut it down and done mostly Tampa Bay Lightning. But occasionally he'd do a game on NBC Sportsnet, and he's pretty good. 6 is John Forslund. He's the voice of the Carolina Hurricanes, and then he does a lot of national games for NBC. Usually does one a week for them. Usually like the Tuesday night game, especially in the fall when Kenny Albert is on assignment for football. Or if Albert has a Rangers game, then Forslund would cover. But if the Rangers are off and Carolina's off, then it would be Albert. 5 is Paul Ramuk of Sportsnet. He's their lead announcer. Romanek. He's always enthusiastic. He does a great job for Sportsnet and up in Canada. 4 is Kenny Albert, radio voice of the Rangers. His best sport, in my opinion, is hockey. He's great on TV when he gets his TV opportunities. A lot of people think that he's in line to replace Doc Emmerich down the road as the lead voice of hockey on NBC. And that would be interesting because a lot of people think that he'd be the lead contender to replace Sam Rosen on MSG as well. So he'd pretty much would be in Mike Breen's spot by calling national games, being the lead national announcer, and doing the Stanley Cup Finals, and in Breen's case, the NBA Finals, and it being the voice of, ironically enough, the team that plays at Madison Square Garden in both of their cases, with Breen with the Knicks and Albert with the Rangers. So that's a little bit of a parallel potentially down the road for Kenny Albert, but he's really great at hockey. Sometimes he does Ranger games on NBCSN, but I think it's because he's high up in the hierarchy. 3 is Jim Houston of CBC. Always energetic during games, and he does a great job calling games up in Canada. 2, Gord Miller. He does the Senators and the Maple Leafs. He does a great job on NBC Sportsnet. And with the World Juniors every year, too. And number 1, no doubt about it, Doc Emmerich, the voice of hockey, former voice of the New Jersey Devils. He is fantastic at what he does, always energetic, always brings a sense of optimistic flavor to the table, never has a bad thing to say about anybody, and this guy has had a phenomenal career. That's it for today's podcast. I'll be back tomorrow recapping all the college football action from today and all the baseball action. Look ahead to tomorrow's baseball action. Preview all the NFL games, even though I picked them all already. And go over anything else that happens in the world of sports, and obviously talk about U.S. Open, finals, and golf as well. I hope you guys have a great day.